In this next problem, we see that we're dealing with absolute value. And what we have is the absolute value of x minus 7 equals 8. So here's what this means, and this is how we're going to tackle this with all the confidence in the world. What absolute value means, in a nutshell, is whatever is inside of this, whether it's positive or negative, it always ends up positive. So here's what this means, everybody. If this ends up becoming negative 8 or positive 8, if this ends up becoming, again, positive 8 or negative 8, it doesn't matter because absolute value only measures the pure distance from 0. The positive and negative doesn't matter at all. All that matters is the pure distance. So if we're saying, hey, we're 8 to the right, positive 8, cool, absolute value is 8. Oh, hey, we're negative 8, we're 8 to the left. Great, you're still 8. So that's what this means. What this means is, regardless if we get 8 or negative 8, it will make the equation true. And that's all we want. That's what solving equations is, right? Finding the value of x that makes the equation true. So with that, we have two cases. The first case is when x minus 7 is the positive 8. And then the other case where x minus 7 is negative 8. Either of those cases make the equation true. And now we'll solve the first, showing that if we add 7 to both sides, that'll give us x equals 15. And again, you can prove that this is the right answer by plugging it in. X minus 7 equals 8. Plug in the 15, and you end up getting 15 minus 7. And then 15 minus 7 is 8. The absolute value of 8 ends up becoming 8. So look at that. First answer, boom, it works. And if you're pressed for time, like you're taking a standardized test, the only answer that has x equals 15, not negative 15, but x equals 15 is answer choice C. So you can tell immediately what the correct answer is if you didn't have enough time to solve for both. But we do here. So we'll continue by solving this correct one here, adding 7. And once we do that, we get x equals not 15, not negative 15, but negative 1. Because we have negative 8, we are backwards 8. We come back forward 7, we're still negative 1. And so boom, there's our second answer, listed exactly right there. And we can plug and chug to prove this one correct as well. Question up. So before I even solve this one, I want to remind everybody that this one, as it stands at this current date and time, this one has an accuracy of 22%. 22%. So that means 22% of people who've tried this problem have gotten it right. So let me show you why that is here. Because when you look at the problem, it says, how many cubic yards of concrete are needed? Everybody, quick question. When we're asking for how much of a cubic unit we need, what kind of a unit are we talking about? If we say, hey, cubic yards or cubic feet or cubic inches, yeah, we're talking about volume. So if you have that first bit of understanding, knowing that, yeah, if we are asked for a cubic unit that's volume, then the next question you want to ask yourself is what shape? Because if you know what shape, then guess what? You have your formula. So when you take a look at the dimensions that we're given, we have a length, width, and a depth, which is the same thing as a height. But if you take a look, length, width, and height, that's a rectangular prism. And a rectangular prism's volume is length times width times height, just like that. But here's the major issue. The major issue, everybody, is that we're looking for the volume in cubic what again? Help me out. The volume is asked for in cubic what? What do all of these answer choices say? Yeah, cubic yards. That's a big one there, everybody. We're looking for cubic yards. Why is that a problem? Well, when I plug in all of my values, I have 18 feet long, which is an issue. Then we have the width as 9 feet, also an issue. And then we also have 5 feet in depth or height, which is an issue. That is absolutely an issue. Everybody, I have one question though. How do I convert from feet to yards? How do I convert between feet and yards? What am I supposed to do to the number of feet that I have to get to yards? Yeah, depending on how you've learned it, it's going to give you the same answer, but you might think about it as I'm starting from a small unit and I'm trying to group them up to get to the bigger unit, the yards. To group up to get a bigger unit, that's division. You're dividing every group of 3 feet to get 1 yard. So here's what we need to do. For every dimension of feet, what we need to do, everybody, is this. Divide by 3. If I divide by 3, I can basically say something like this, like 18 feet is going to be 6 yards because we divided by 3. We grouped every group of 3 yards, or 3 feet, into 1 yard. So there's number 1. We're going to divide all of those sides by 3 because it'll convert each of those sides to yards. Now from there, let's go ahead and take care of business. Let me just draw a nice fractional line all the way across. And so we'll have here 18 divided by 3 is 6. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I'm just showing you here. Let me just highlight this in blue. We have 18 divided by 3, that's 6. 9 divided by 3, that's 3. Everybody, is 5 easily divisible by 3? It's not, right? So this is where some people might get stuck. But let me just show you right here. Do we have another number instead of 5 that can be canceled out? We do. We absolutely do. What number can we cancel out? Yeah, the 3. Take a look. Because we were dividing each of these by 3. So we had 3 3s in the denominator. We took care of this one. We took care of that one. But we have one more that can't go with the 5, but it can go with any of these. And so I'm just going to cancel it out right there. Look at that. Everybody, what's 6 times 5? Help me out. Can't believe it's that straightforward. But 6 times 5 is 30. We have it in the proper units that we wanted, cubic yards, but there's your answer. Answer choice A, all done. Yeah, and again, this problem has a 22% accuracy rating on our website. But the reason is because, hey, you may not be comfortable with dealing with 2 topics at once. Volume and unit conversion in one problem. That's all that was. Convert before you calculate the volume, and it becomes a very straightforward problem. We're taking care of finding an equivalent expression to x squared plus 4x plus 4. So here's the main rule, everybody. The main rule is going to be find the factors of c that add up to b. That's what we're trying to do. This is trinomial factorization. So the cool thing about this problem is that b and c are the same number. And when we take a look at that, okay, find the factors of c. It's a pretty short list of factor pairs. We have 1 times 4, and we have 2 times 2. Now, everybody, when we add 1 times 4, that's not going to give us the b term, because again, b is 4. 1 plus 4 is going to be 5. That's not going to work. 2 plus 2, that's 4. And that will work. And so, boom, this problem here, the solution, is going to be just filling in the parentheses. We have x. That's a positive 2. That's a positive 2. And that's our answer. But just because we don't see the answer that we wrote doesn't mean that we're wrong. It just means there might be one extra thing that we need to do. And in this case, everybody, when we have the same thing multiplied by itself, we just write that thing squared. So if we're taking a look at x plus 2 times x plus 2, that's the same thing as x plus 2 all squared. And so that's why the correct answer to this one is answer choice D, x plus 2 all squared.